Apple ended the fiscal year on a high note, exceeding expectations. The world's most valuable company posted a profit of $11.1 billion for its fourth quarter, up 31% from a year ago. Revenue was $51.5 billion, up 22% from last year. Here now is CNET News Editor-in-Chief, Connie Guglielmo. Connie, great to see you. How is it that a company can make more than $11 billion profit, and yet in closing we saw the stocks sliding just a bit, and we also see that that expectations in terms of the number of devices sold was slightly disappointing?
Well, you have to remember that Apple is all about the iPhone. The iPhone is 2/3 of their sales. It's their most important product by far. And what we saw in the quarter that just ended in September is that even though they had the new models of the iPhone 6S and 6S Plus only on sale for 2 weeks, they were still able to come super close to analyst estimates. So that bodes very, very well for this quarter, which is their holiday quarter. It's always their biggest sales quarter. So what that means is that the demand is so strong that people are enthusiastic about what's going to happen this quarter. So really the last quarter, the results that you just announced, people were very interested in them, but investors were like, okay, good enough. We'll see what they do next.
All right, so and I know that China is a huge market for Apple, and in fact, most of the iPhone 6S models were sold in China. But since we're seeing China's growth slowing so dramatically, does that portend bad things in store for Apple?
Well, that has been a big concern. China is an extremely important market for Apple, and earlier this year it became an even larger market than the US for the iPhone. And what we saw with the results today is that sales there doubled. It was down from earlier this year, but they still doubled from a year ago. And Tim Cook has made a point of talking up the opportunity in China. He was in Beijing last week announcing a new way to work with manufacturers there. And so China, while it's having its own issues as a country, and obviously the economy there is struggling, the signs are that people still want the iPhone. It's still a brand that those consumers covet. So yes, a concern, but a positive note out of this report.
All right, the other thing is many experts look at Apple and they say one reason why it continues to be the world's most profitable company is because it keeps coming up with new products that people want. Can Apple keep up the pace in launching these new products that we didn't know that we have to have?
Well, we're right in the middle of a cycle with the Apple Watch, and the numbers are hard to gauge because Apple is not disclosing how many Apple Watches are being sold. Is there innovation in that device? Absolutely. If anyone can help make a wearable device popular, the bet is on Apple, just because they've been so successful at disrupting the smartphone market, the music player market, the tablet market. They're going to be introducing and start selling their new Apple TV later this week, which is a way for you to access TV content over the internet. Not exactly a revolutionary product, more evolutionary, but it shows the direction that they're taking. So no one is really willing to write off Apple's innovation yet. They do surprise, they do invest a lot in their design and their technology. So that's why you see them as the most valuable brand in the world.
And when you talk to business experts, do they still see Apple as a great buy?
From a stock perspective,
right.
Apple, again, anybody who has bet against Apple over the past few years has lost. They have defied expectations. It's kind of an emotional stock in some ways more than an analytical stock, and it is tied to some of the products and the sentiment about the products. So I guess it goes to the point, do you think that the Apple Watch has a place in the market in the year ahead? Do you think the iPhone 6S and the 6S Plus were a good effort in the big screen market for smartphones? Are you looking at the iPad Pro that is coming out in the next month with a pencil as its input tab as a new way for people to play with tablets? So that's an emotional buy almost more than an analytical one.
Connie, great to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.